It's freaking Star Wars, baby.
I think there's a huge misconception as to who Grand Admiral Thrawn is. In the new Star Wars AHSOKA series, Grand Admiral Thrawn is shown for the first time in live action, and he's similar to his character in Rebels. But we've only got a glimpse of him so far, so let's take a look at who Grand Admiral Thrawn really is, what his true motivations are, and how this misconception can have people believing he's going to turn out a certain way when it's probably not going to happen. But before I get into that, I do want to give a quick update as to Michael Newby and his wife. His wife did have surgery on Wednesday. I don't want to go into detail about that. That's her privacy. But all went well with the surgery, and they got a positive report, but they're still not out of the weeds. So if you guys could just give this subscriber and friend of mine some good thoughts, some positive vibes, some prayers, and all that, we'd really appreciate it. And if you have any need for prayers or positive thoughts, let me know, and I'll give you a shout out and see what we can do for you. But please keep those positive thoughts and prayers coming for Michael's wife. She's, like I said, she's not out of the woods yet, and it's looking good, though. So keep it coming. They're really good people, and they deserve it. And before I get on with Grand Admiral Thrawn, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share the video. If you share the video, the gods will pour beer into your mug for absolutely free. Yeah, the gods, not me. I don't have that much beer. But anyways, let's get on with Grand Admiral Thrawn, shall we? Said there is a misconception of what Thrawn's motives actually are. And a lot of us see him, a lot of us that have read the novels and watched Star Wars Rebels and been following Grand Admiral Thrawn since about 1992 when Heir to the Empire was released. And that misconception is that Thrawn is doing everything he can to protect the Chiss ascendancy. Now, that is probably true. He is probably trying to gain the help of the Empire to protect them against the Grisk. In the past, they were called the Yuuzhan Vong, but now they're called the Grisk. That is what it is. They're a little different, but same concept. And I'm not saying that Thrawn isn't, having an affinity for the Chiss ascendancy. I'm saying that his motives are a little bit different. He is one of the most brilliant tacticians ever to come out of the Star Wars galaxy, and all of us are cheering for him. We're cheering for a bad guy. Yes, he is a villain. Sorry. We're showing the perspective of the Rebels or the New Republic at this point, and Ahsoka Tano, Sabine Wren, and Ezra Bridger, and so on and so forth. And Grand Admiral Thrawn is against them. He is the antagonist to this story, and therefore a villain. Doesn't care if they die, would like them to die. Yeah, it's kind of a villain. But Thrawn is not evil, okay? Yeah, we thought that. And he's done some pretty despicable acts, and some of those non-redeemable, but he did those in what he thought was right to restore order and balance to the galaxy and peace. But Thrawn's motives are simple. He likes puzzles. He likes figuring things out and staying one step ahead of his enemies, and he's really good at it. This is what drives him. It's the hunt. It's not the conclusion of it, but he doesn't revel in the fact that he's right most of the time, and he gets things well sorted out. He doesn't sit there and gloat when he has a victory. He doesn't say, this is all my praise. He says, no, this was a team effort. We all did it. You guys played a part, and you helped out, and sorry you didn't see what the end result was going to be. I did, but thank you all for doing what you did. And he's really good at it. And what we see in Star Wars Rebels is this bumbling Thrawn. Well, that's what some people call it. But it wasn't Thrawn who failed those missions. It was those subordinate to him, those under his command that went against his plans and calculated moves. And we know Thrawn is calculated, and he's very good. If people stick to the plan to a T, then everything goes right. We see that in the Thrawn novels, the Ascendancy novels, and the regular Thrawn novels, and the Heir to the Empire novels. Stick to Thrawn's plan, and it will succeed. If you deviate from it in the slightest way, then the victory is surely not had. And we saw that in Star Wars Rebels. And we will likely see that in the AHSOKA series, probably not season 1, but at least season 2 or the Mandalorian movie. Now, after the defeat of the Grisk, or the assumed defeat of the Grisk in the unknown regions by Thrawn and the Chiss Ascendancy, Thrawn needed more. He needed more puzzles. He needed his brain to work. He needed his brain to be firing on all cylinders, and peacetime just wasn't that. So he joins the Empire, where they're having this problem with the rebellion. Now, he could have just as easily joined the rebellion and helped them, but how calculated did he need to be to understand that a galactic-wide empire that rules everything will just use force and numbers to smash them? So no, he joined the force with the numbers to smash this rebellion, but the rebellion was unpredictable. And this created a challenge for Thrawn, a huge challenge. How do you predict something that's unpredictable? Well, you know they're going to go after fuel supplies, but how are they going to do it? What manner are they going to do it? How are they going to react to an Imperial force that they know is going to be there? And how do they survive? Well, that's his job, to stop that from happening, and it's a puzzle in his brain. He works out. How many of us don't like puzzles to figure out? Crossword puzzles, word searches, bricks and balls, whatever you do, you figure out puzzles. How to build something, that's a puzzle. And we do it because it keeps our brain functioning properly, the way we like it, and it keeps us on our toes. And that's exactly what Thrawn does. He joins things to help him get better at what he does and to solve those puzzles. Now, yes, he could be doing this to get the Imperial remnant now over to the unknown regions. He had even said that the Grisk would likely defeat the Chiss Ascendancy. The reason they fled the battlefield was because they chose to flee the battlefield. And now, after defeating the Chiss Ascendancy, the Empire would stand no chance. But his thought is that joining forces with the Chiss Ascendancy and the Empire would give them a fighting chance against the Grisk. And now it may be that, the outcome of that is to help the Chiss Ascendancy remain their own little sovereign thing and survive and thrive and all that stuff. And that's an outcome that could happen. But also, this is a challenge for Thrawn. This is a huge threat. This is something that he needs to be able to do, to figure out how to defeat these foes. That's probably the biggest challenge he has ever come across, because he understands that the Grisk are that overwhelming, that they can take him out no matter how much strategy he uses. He is now the rebellion against the Empire. No, he's not in the rebellion against the Empire. I'm just saying it's like an analogy. He's now the smaller force, where the Grisk are the larger force, using overwhelming numbers. Now let's go back to why Thrawn joined the Empire and not the rebellion. Well, if he'd have joined the rebellion, he'd have been bored. Yeah, they were going to squeak out small victories and in the end probably be victorious, but there's not much strategy involved in that. There's little hit and runs, and that's all he would be doing, instead of figuring out a way to solve a puzzle. Getting rid of an empire when there's millions and millions of them, seems a little too bland and boring for Thrawn. But removing a needle in a haystack, as in the rebellion, is not boring. That's a search, that's a puzzle, that's a find, that's a victory. That's something that keeps him on his toes and keeps him guessing what's going on. And that's where Thrawn thrives. Notice anytime even Thrawn's promoted or he's victorious or anything, he's like, whatever. It's whatever. I don't care. Cool, we defeated him. Now let's move on to the next thing and see what we can do there. And we see that in the AHSOKA series, where Thrawn has basically just distracted Sabine, Ezra, and AHSOKA long enough for him to hightail it out of Peridea. And even myself included, we've all misunderstood what is going on with Thrawn. His whole motivation and ambition is not to protect the Chiss Ascendancy. It is to solve puzzles. More challenging the puzzle, the more Thrawn wants to be involved in it, and the more Thrawn dedicates himself to it. And this leaving Peridea and going back to the I guess, normie galaxy, we'd call it. I don't know, Galaxy Prime, something like that. Going back there is a challenge, and he's fixed that. He's going back to the galaxy, and then after that is on to the next bigger, better thing. And that's how Thrawn's brain works. But I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments below. Am I wrong about this? Or, I mean, could I be right? I don't know. There's a lot of things I've been wrong about, and there's things I've been right about. Well, let's say one of the things I was wrong about was the new stormtroopers that Thrawn is commanding. They are not green farts like Marok. I didn't see any green smoke pop out of them. And a lot of people were wrong about them being an undead army. Just seems like we were all wrong. And that's what something Dave Filoni is really good at. And I include Timothy Zahn in that. He's really good at throwing us for a loop and then at the end showing the conclusion and why it came that way. And Thrawn's going to be a part of that. So let me know in the comments. I rambled on long enough. And again, please keep those positive thoughts and prayers coming for Michael Newby and his wife. They really need it. Really, really need it. So please just keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And before I go, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share it with some Star Trek friends. Yeah, I said Star Trek, not Star Wars, because Star Trek friends need to be converted. Yeah, convert them. Anyways, till the next video, this is Gerald, a Star Wars fanatic, signing off, wishing you all great health, happiness, and peace. Thank you all for watching, and remember, this is the way, and positivity in the Star Wars community can be the only way.